Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear students, to today's lecture of operating system. Just to recap the previous lecture, in last lecture we talked about the services which are provided by operating system. So meaning that any software which provide these services we can call this is a operating system software or system software. So I would like to just quickly recap those services. We talked about the first service that we talked in last class was program execution. So program execution means operating system should be able to execute program. So what do you mean by this? It means that we have many programs in a hard disk, or we have many programs installed in a system. So the operating system should be able to run these programs for user. A good example would be, so if you want to open MS Word file, so we just click on the Word file, we don't know what's going on behind the scene. So now this is the task of operating system to load this RAM, this MS Word file from hard disk into RAM, and then from into RAM to the processor, and then the result is shown to the user. And then we talked about input-output device. In input-output device, operating system should be able to properly operate or control input-output devices. So meaning that input device, an example would be, so if we press any key on the keyboard, the operating system should be able to get the input from the user. An output example would be operating system should use properly the screen which is used to show the result for the user, or operating system should be able to use properly loudspeaker, which is an output device. So and so on. So these input-output devices need to be controlled and operated by the software. And then we talked about the file system. So file system, you see, we are storing many files on a hard disk, right? So these files need to be controlled. So meaning that none of these files should interfere with each other, and if a user want to delete a file, the operating system should be able to remove that file from the system. So if a user want to save, the system should be able to write that file on a hard disk. So this is another service or function of an operating system which need to be done. And then we talked about communication. So operating system should be able to communicate between programs within a system, and operating system should be able to communicate between devices. It means between computers. So within a system mean among programs within a system mean that let's take again the example of MS Word. So you see, assume that you have opened two MS Word files, and now you want to copy some of the data or text from one file A to file B. So you see, so the data is copied to the second file. So this is now the job of operating system to do this function for user. So you see, so this data is copied from one file to another file. So this is called communication between files, but within the same system. And then communication between devices. Between devices mean one computer communicate with another computer, one mobile phone communicate with another mobile phone. So these packets or data is sent and received is the function of an operating system. And then we talked about error detection. Error detection, operating system should be able to detect possible errors. So possible error, as we mentioned this example in last class, I would like to mention it again. Sometimes the charge of battery becomes low. So when it become low than 15%, so the system is giving you a message that the battery is about to die, please plug in the charger. So you see there is an error which operating system is detecting. Or sometimes you keep pressing a single button on a keyboard, or you just press a button for a while on a keyboard, so the system is giving you a beep sound that there is an error. So this task should not be done. So there may be 100 or thousands error which are detected by operating system. And then accounting, we talked about accounting. So what is an accounting? Accounting, you see there are two rules of an accounting in operating system. One is that operating system should know that which resource is used by which process and which resource is free. This is one step in accounting. And second, how much, or operating system should know the percentage of use of a device. For example, operating system knows that how the percentage of processor which is used by the many processes or many programs or users. Or operating system should be aware of the hard disk, that how much space do I have for the rest of the data to be stored. So this is an example of an accounting. And then we talked about the protection in security. So what do you mean by protection in security? Protection means operating system should control access to each resources within a system. So should have control on each resources inside the computer. That could be hardware resource or that could be software resource. And protection is the operating system should keep the system safe or protected from outsiders. So meaning that, so if any new user wants to log into the system should ask for the credential, for the username and password. So if the user is entering his or her username and password, the system need to check this given username and password for its authenticity. So you see, this is a kind of protecting the system from unauthorized use. So these was the services which are, these are not only the services which are provided by operating system. There might be many other services which are provided by operating system, but these are so common services that we can call any software which are providing these services, we can call it an operating system, right? Okay, let's move on to today's lecture. Okay, so today we have a multi-programming. Multi-programming is a very essential topic to be discussed because we are dealing with multi-programming operating system nowadays. So what do you mean by multi-programming? You see, it's very obvious from its name. Multi mean more than one in programming. So there should be more than one programming run inside the operating system. So multi-programming is used for improving CPU utilization. A very essential point is discussed at this stage. It is used for improving CPU utilization. Before, at the early stages of computer, or we can say at 1980s or before 1980s, so there were operating system used that operating system were able at that stage to run only a single program at the same time. For example, so if you were to open a MS Word file, you would not be able to open at the same time MS Excel file as well. Why? Because if the Word file was open, so nobody was able to run another program. So this is called a single program uniprogram operating system or single program operating system. Another example would be, so at that stage, if you wanted to play a music, so you would be able only to listen to the music. You couldn't be able to, for example, open a MS Word file at the same time and listen to the music. So meaning that a single program was run at that stage. Later on, so the operating system were introduced, so these operating system were able to run multiple programs. So my point is, at this stage, what do you mean by improving CPU utilization? You see, so if you open a MS Word file And now the task of a processor is done, because the processor executed this file and now it is shown on the screen. Now the processor is free, or the CPU is free. There is no another file which need to be run on a processor. And CPU or processor is the mostly essential, or we can say the costly resource on a system. So that was wasted, because none of the rest of the programs or processes were to be run. So that is why at that stage the CPU utilization was a very low stage, So the Microsoft or rest of the companies, they introduced multi-programming operating system. Multi-programming operating system mean a system which is able to run many programs at the same time, just like we are doing today. You see, sometimes you play a music and then you open a Word file, you are just typing something, and at the same time you might be downloading something from internet. So you see, there are three, or you can run more than 3 programs at the same time. This is called multi-programming capabilities. Now we know that in uni-programming or mono-programming, only one process is executed at the same time. So as I said before, you can only run a single program in a uni or mono-programming. Uni mean one, in mono, so both are same. So program loaded and executed at the command type by user, and after the completion of a process, operating system gives control back to the user by prompting on a terminal and wait for the next command. So it is actually talking about back in the 1980s, that in 1980s, so a single program, if you want to run a program, you have to run a single program at the command line. Now, although mono-programming is sometimes used on the small computers, but on a large computer with multiple users, it is not used, because so if there are more than one user using the system, so how it is possible to run many programs at the same time? You cannot do it. For example, nowadays, let me give you an example. You see, at the same time, many students visit Salam LMS. So the server which is keeping the data or giving you the services is actually receiving multiple requests at the same time. So if this operating system is not functioning as a multi-programming operating system, so at the same time there should be a single user student to access the system. But this is a multi-programming operating system, that's why everybody can access this system. Now, what are the reasons for implementing multi-programming operating system? I think this is too easy to understand, because we need to run many programs and we need to utilize the CPU at its best, because CPU should not be idle. It should give us something, right? It could be anything, but it should give us something. Okay, applications are made easier to program if we split them into 2 or more processes. Can anybody explain this? Think about for a moment. It means that programs or applications are very, very large, you can say big in its size. But if you split them, so we can run them very easily, and we can split them in many processes, and the processor can run it, or RAM can run it very easily. I will give you an example. Many of us playing games on a computer. A good example would be IGI was a very famous game on a computer that we were playing, IGI. So you see, the size of an IGI is it's more than 3 GB, but the RAM which we were using was only 1 GB RAM. Now, what do you think? How is it possible to run this 3 GB program in a single RAM? As it's very clear that any program which is opened is actually loaded into the RAM. Now, so you see, it's not possible to run a 3 GB application on a 1 GB RAM. But you see, what's going on behind the scene. This 3GB application or IGI game is actually divided into multiple processes, and each process is brought into the RAM and then into the processor or CPU for execution. So this is the reason that we need to split a single program into multiple processes, and we can run multiple processes at the same time, or we can run multiple processes back and forth. This is the first reason that we are using multi-programming operating system. The second one, okay, large computers are used by several people, which leads to presence of more than one process in the memory. I will give you an example of the server again. So there are many web servers. So for example, many of us using YouTube or visiting YouTube. So you see the server which is actually keeping the data of YouTube is receiving thousands or you can say millions and billions requests at the same time. Now, so there you see many users are actually using a single computer or single server. So if this computer is not able to properly run multi-programming operating system, so it's not possible for all of us to visit YouTube at the same time. A single user should visit YouTube. When this user is done with its work, then another user should use it, then another user should use it. So you see, it's not possible in today's world. So this is another, you can say, advantage of or reason of multi-programming. Then large computers are very expensive, so if CPU remains idle, the precious time of CPU is wasted. It's wasted if we do not want the CPU to be idle. Why? Because CPU is a very precious, or we can say the costly unit of our system. We need to utilize the CPU. To utilize the CPU more efficiently, more processes need to be in the memory, so that if one process waits, another may be given the control of a CPU. मतलब एक प्रोसेस अगर मसलन मुंतज़िर मेशा सो از منتظری مراد چی است؟ مراد این است که مثلا شما اگر یک پروگرام اوپن میکنین و یک کتاب میخوانین، شما مثلا پی دی اف است، این پی دی اف شما اوپن کردین، علی که پی دی اف اوپن شد کار پروسسور خلاص شد، دیگه پروسسور هیچ چیز نمیکنه، این خود اسکرین براتون دیسپلی شده، تو باید این رو بخوانی. در این وقت که سی پی یو چی است؟ ایدل است. و اگر شما میخواین که از اینترنت چیز دانلود بکنین، اگر ملتی پروگرامینگ نباشه، you have to close the PDF file and then you need to start downloading. मतलब ये कि شما باید PDF اوپن بکنین، مطالعه باید بند کنین شما که او دانلود شود. ممتا یه خو کامپیوتر قوی کامپیوتر است، ما میگیم که نه از CPU باید خوب استفاده شود. ما مطالعه میکنیم و در بک که هست پروسسور باید کار خودش شروع کنه به دانلود، نمیکسم چندین تا فایل که هست و چی میشه اوپن میشه و اونا کار میکنه. ये दिगर रीजन ची asta reason ही operating system as multi programming as version. Now let me just clarify this topic more easily. आले कम गोश कुलिन की माबरतान एक हस्ता بسیار بساده چی براتان تشریح میکنیم. assume that this is a RAM. چی هستا یک RAM است. ما شما RAM داریم، این مموری میگه. سه هستا پس از اینکه هستا ما شما بریم که هستا چی بگوییم؟ مموری. RAM stand for random access memory, right? Okay. ये RAM असता. शेप में قسم می باشه که مثلا میرم پیش که ما کامپیوتر یوز میکردیم در 2008 تا 2006 کامپیوتر خریده بودیم به نام دسکتاپ کامپیوتر ورا پنتیم 1 میگفتیم. پنتیم 1 که هست دو رم که هست 512 جی بی ام بی دو رم بود و فکر میکنیم 128 ام بی که هست 228 ام بی وام دوریم بود و 512 ام بی مقسم 1 جی بی خود او وقت بیخی کم بود که شما مثلا کامپیوتر 1 جی بی رم یک کس بخره او کامپیوتر بسیار پنتیم 3 آمد باز دو وقت پنتیم 4 کامپیوتر آمد باز مردم رو می خرید کسی که پیسه زیاد داشت. خب ما دو وقت یوز میکردیم اپریتینگ سیستم که ما یوز میکردیم به نام 98 اپریتینگ سیستم بود کسی یوز کرده باشه. پس از 98 باز ویندوز ایکس پی آمد که بسیار زیاد مشهور بود، گرافیکس خوب بود و مردم از استفاده میکرد. خب امو ریم برتان آله که هستا گپ طولانی نشه ای 512 ام بی سپیس داره یعنی میریم حالا چی رقم امکان داره شما خودتان فکر بکن او دو وقت که هست یک گیم بسیار مشهور بود به نام نیت فار سپید. نیت فار سپید ما میخریدیم سیدی شباز میآوردیم در کامپیوتر و اینترنت خود او حقیقت زیاد نبود که هر کس استفاده بکنه و دسترسی داشته باشه از اینترنت دانلود کنه. نه ما میفهمیدیم که از اینترنت چه رقم دانلود میشه. ما تا سیدی رو میخریدیم باز میآوردیم نیت فار سپید رو رن میکردیم. ما براتون بسیار پرکتیکال مثال میتیم شما ببینید. حالا او سیدی را که ما میخریدیم تقریبا از او سیدی که هست از 600 ام بی زیاد چی میداشت سایزشان بود از این قدم زیاد ام بی از این قدم سایز بود. So now you think about this. So if the size of a single game is more than 600 MB and then I have opened مثلا I was able to open MS Word file, I was able to open MS Excel file, I was able to for example play a music. So you see 4 programs are open. هر program همیشه که شما جاب هم بگوین جاب 1, جاب 2, جاب 3 and جاب 4 سیلسا نو حالا اگه مثلا شما اینمی مکمل چی که هست نیت فار سپید گیم ایره که شما اوپن میکنین در این خوی جای نمیشه مکمل سپیس چقدر است 512 حالا چی رقم امکان داره که 600 ام بی گیم هم اوپن شوه مثلا یک پروگرام دیگه هم اوپن شوه شما میفهمین که remember one thing any program which is open is actually located in the RAM. هر پروگرام که اوپن می باشه او در کدام جای می باشه او در ریم می باشه. هر پروگرام که اوپن است او در ریم است. نوی چه رقم امکان داره که این 600 ام بی پروگرام اوپن است و در 512 ام بی که است شما استور کردین کبھی هیچ امکان نداره و هیچ که است اپراتینگ سیستم که شما ببینید اپراتینگ سیستم اوپن است اپراتینگ سیستم خودشان یک سافت است یعنی اینمی اپراتینگ سیستم خودشان اگر اوپن باشه ایم در ریم است. Now it becomes so complex for us to understand how does it possible with a چی رقم امکان داره او که چی شوا باید اوپن باشه whether that is multi programming or a single programming. اگر multi programming باشه single programming باشه now listen این اصلا چی رقم میشه یک قسم میشه که هر مثلا نمی که است نیت فار سپید یا گیم است اینمی مکمل گیم که است لود اول با اپراتینگ سیستم میایم این تشریح میکنیم پس زبریگا اپراتینگ سیستم کی جمع سایز اپراتینگ سیستم چقدر دو وقت مثلا وقت که است از 1 جی بی از 2 جی بی که است سایز اپراتینگ سیستم چی بود زیاد بود سایز است ویندوز XP یا ویندوز 98 ورشن میگفت میشه که شما ببینید در گوگل سرچ کنین امو حداقل امو دسکتاپ چیزش ببینین که چه رقم هست 98 ویندوز در 98 ویندوز یا ویندوز XP که برشان میگفت سایز XP ای سایزش از 2 جی بی زیاد بود الی 2 جی بی در 512 ام بی چی رقم لود میشه هیچ امکان نداره این اصلا اپراتینگ سیستم چی رقم میکنه فعلا هم که ما شما اوپن میکنیم مکمل اپراتینگ سیستم لود نمیشه نه دو وقت مکمل اپراتینگ سیستم لود میشد در مولتی پروگرامینگ که انترودیوس شده یا اگر سینگل پروگرامینگ هم بود نمیقسم بود در اول وقت اصلا ما شما که اپراتینگ سیستم لود میکنیم یا رن میکنیم کامپیوتر روشن میشه امو چیزایی که مو کد یا پروگرام که بسیار ضرور است و یوزر دمو جای میره او صرف لود میشه مثلا کدام کد که با پرایسر نمیشته شده که پرایسر چی رقم رن شوه او لود میشه کدام کد که بریم نمیشته شده که ریم چی رقم که هست یوتیلایز شوه او رن میشه و کدام کد که مثلا با هارد دیسک نمیشته شده او رن میشه این کم پارتشه دیگه است که ما شما که اپراتینگ سیستم اوپن میکنیم چی برای ما شما اول باید ویزیبل شوه دسکتاپ امو کد که با دسکتاپ چی شده امو رن میشه نوشته شده ای رن میشه الان نیاز نیست که کد که با کنترل پنل که هست او رن شده او علی اینجا که هست چی شوه رن شوه نوشته شده اینجا رن شوه نه وقتی که ما اگه با چی میریم با کنترل پنل میریم کنترل پنل امو سکرین یا اینترفیس که برای ما اوپن میشه کد دسکتاپ پس میره به هارد دیسک کد کنترل پنل میاد اینجا میبینید شما یک پروگرام که هست ای با منی پروسس تقسیم میشه و سینگل پروسس کدام پروسس که نیاز است امو پروسس اینجا چی میشه لود میشه این قسم باز نیاز نیست که مکمل اپراتینگ سیستم لود شوه امو کم اپلیکیشن مثلا شاید این نمیشه که هست 50 ام بی کد ازی باشه از بچی که نوشته شده با پروسسور یا سی پی یو او ران شوه، مثلا شاید 50 ام بی کد که هست با ریم نوشته شده باشه، شاید 50 ام بی کد که هست ای با دسکتاپ نوشته شده باشه و شاید 100 ام بی که هست ای با کنترل پنل نوشته شده باشه. مثلا نمی کلی مگه چی اوپن بکنه رن کنه تقریبا چند میاد 2.5 خو ایتو فکر بکنین که 2.5 ام بی سپیس که هست ای صرف اپراتینگ سیستم گرفت از ای 500 ام بی. چقدر میمانه 512 باقیش ایجا میمانه. صحیح است. اگر ای 200 بگوییم 50 بکنیم 200 ام بی دیتا سپیس که هست ای چی یوز کرد اپراتینگ سیستم، باقی چقدر میمانه 312 ام بی باقی هست. مثلا 100 ام بی یوز میکنه. صحیح است. اوجا 212 ام بی باقی شد. اگر 100 ام بی یوز کنه چقدر باقی شد 112. اگر 100 ام بی ای جاب یوز کنه هر جاب که باشه اوجا چند 12 باقی است که 12 ام بی که هست باز بینمی پروگرام داده میشه. شما میبینین این میریم این قسم تقسیم میشه به هر پروگرام که هست کم تقسیم میشه. اینمی که هست خوبی ملتی پروگرامینگ اپراتینگ سیستم است که you can run many programs at the same time. So what happens is the RAM or the memory is divided into multiple chunks. This is called chunks. So these chunks are used by many programs at the same time. So what if, let me give you another example. So now the RAM is full, totally full. You want to run another program. For example, you want to play music. So what happened? So what do you think? Can you open the play the music or not? Think about this. So I think so if there is no space, so what happens is you cannot run the music, right? No, this is not actually happens. So there is one program out of these 4 programs need to be swept out. Sweep out mean bring it back to the hard disk. ای پس به هارد دیسک آورده میشه. یک پروگرامی ازی که هست نو سوالی است که کدام پروگرام ازی بس به هارد دیسک میاره، کدام پروگرام که هست او که اکتیو نباشه، او که هست یوزر کار نمیکنه او را پس میاره با کدام جای میاره، او را پرایورتیش چک میکنه که پرایورتی که هست از کدام پروگرام که پایین باشه. چون شما میوزیک پلی میکنین یک ویدیو را پلی میکنین دریم باید بریتان سپیس چی شوه. اینمی پروگرام نمبر 3 که هست. now this become actually program number 4 که هستم نیو پروگرام ای پس میره پروگرام نمبر 3 دا کدام جای میره ایره میگه سویپ اوت و نو پروگرام که چی میشه اوره میگه سویپ این. So this is how multi programs are actually run inside the single operating system. الی فهمیدین شما که ملتی پروگرامینگ اپراتینگ سیستم که هست مموری اصلا به لیر تقسیم میشه. مموری به چی تقسیم میشه؟ به لیر تقسیم میشه. ما فکر میکنیم فعلا امیقدر بس است. انشاءالله در لکچر بعدی از این تاپیک که هست شروع میکنیم بخیر. اون که هست باز متمتیکل اپریشن است او را باز چی میکنیم آل سایزی اینمی ویدیو باز از 3 دقیقه زیاد میشه برتن دانلود سخت میشه. I would like just to recap the lecture. We talked about the multi-programming operating system, that what multi-programming operating system is, and we talked about the reasons of using multi-programming operating system. reason عائشہ صحبت کردیم که چرا ما شما از ملتی پروگرام اپراتینگ سیستم استفاده میکنیم. مطلب سنگل اگر پروگرام کلان باشه اون ما شما نمیتونیم که او را رن بکنیم، به خاطر از او باید سپلیت شود. دیگه ای است که ما شما میخوایم که سی پی یو مکمل at maximum speed چی شوه یوتیلایز شوه. تنوز ما شما سی پی یو شروع نکردیم. مثلا براتون مثال در ریم دادیم که ریم یک قسم یوتیلایز میشه. اصلا خب پس از ریم با یک پروگرام با کدام جای میره؟ پس از ریم یک پروگرام میره با پروسسور که او اکزیکیوت بکنه، از پروسسور پس بریم میایه و ریم براتون در اسکرین چی میکنه؟ دیسپلی میکنه. مطلب فعلا ما شما امروز اگه ببینید هیچ منتظر نمیشیم که کامپیوتر یک پروگرام رن نکنه. مثلا ما شما یک ویدیو رو پلی میکنیم at the same time. اونجا که هست ما شما ورد و فایل اوپن کردیم، ما شما مثلا از اینترنت استفاده میکنیم، ما شما که هست یک چیز دانلود میکنیم. مطلب چندین تا پروگرام at the same time ما شما میکنیم. شما درباره ازی فکر بکنین اگه مثلا فعلا سینگل یا مونی یا یونی پروگرام اپراتینگ سیستم می بود ما شما چی فکر میکنین در این وقت؟ هیچ کس از استفاده نمیکرد یا هیچ قابل ایمپلمنت نبود که یک پروگرام تو اوپن کو. اگر او پروگرام اوپن باشه دیگه پروگرام رن نمیشه. You have to close the open program and then you can run another new program. So this is the discussion of multi-programming operating system. Inshallah, in next class we will be continuing this topic. For further clarification, I would request you all that if you have any questions, please let me know so that I could clarify your questions in next lecture. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.